Episodes 3 through 5 of The Chosen, The Last Supper, have just landed, and things are really starting to pick up and heat up. I said in the last video that this season really needs to build up the intensity and the emotion that is going to lead us into the crucifixion and the resurrection that we know that is coming next season. Now, have these episodes done that? I'm going to let you know today in this review. But before we get to that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of awesome content that's going to be coming your way over the next several weeks and months, and I know you're not going to want to miss it. Also, let me know what you think of this season so far down in the comments. What have you liked? What have you not liked? I'd love to discuss it with you. Now, let's get to the review. I will start off by saying that these 3 episodes all do a great job of raising that intensity and emotion between all the characters that are involved. Each episode builds off the previous one to continually set that stage for the crucifixion and resurrection. That being said though, there are some flaws to these episodes. My fear that I shared in the last video about the pacing of this season is starting to show through some. It's not bad yet, but I do think it is worse than the first 2 episodes, and it could be even worse in the next 3. These episodes end with about 24 hours to go until the Last Supper meal and the arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane. That means those last 3 episodes are going to cover just a 24-hour period. That's really not a lot to cover over the course of 3 episodes. So you can understand where my concern is coming in. Now, these 3 episodes did dive a bit more into the plots that are in the contextual gaps. It wasn't too much, but it is getting a bit borderline for my liking. That's why these next 3 episodes that are coming up to finish this season really have me worried, as they may dive even further away from the text into these subplots. Now, to look at each episode individually, in episode 3, we deal with the fallout from when Jesus was flipping over the tables of the money exchangers in the temple. It enrages the Pharisees, and they look to try and entrap Jesus. They decided to come up with no-win type questions to ask Jesus to get him to trip up in his answers. It all comes to a head in the temple when Jesus is trying to teach the people. And after this scene, the disciples find out an unsettling end to something that they were completely not expecting. In episode 4, the show focuses a lot on Judas. It looks at how he has taken in these events over the past few days and internalized them. It explores what he thinks should be happening through interactions with Jesus and several of the disciples. We start to see the whys behind what we know Judas is about to do. In episode 5, tensions are at an all-time high in Jerusalem. Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin have had enough of Jesus, and they start to plan how they're going to try to get rid of him. They are in a time crunch as Passover is approaching and are looking for a way to get Jesus in the secret of darkness. The disciples in this episode start to fully understand what Jesus has been telling them is about to happen, and they don't know if he's speaking literally or in another parable. Their emotions are at a fever pitch trying to understand. This episode ends with a little bit of a bait and switch plot device that, in my opinion, is really stupid. In any other movie or show, it would have been perfectly fine and a good choice. But in this show, we know what's going to happen already and who does what. So it just doesn't make sense to kind of use this filming device that they used here. It's not a big deal, but it just didn't sit that well with me. Now, I had 2 big takeaways from the 3 episodes that we saw in part 2. The first one was the Pharisees' reactions and interactions with Jesus play out on the screen. It really made me look internally at myself and ask if I am acting like these Pharisees in any part of my life. They were people who thought they were doing God's will, but completely had missed the mark. The second takeaway is from a moment in episode 5 that Jesus is having with the women. It's a very emotional scene, and it makes you think about your own relationship with Jesus and ask yourself, is Jesus enough for you in your life? Overall, I do believe that all 3 of these episodes were very good. I would say that they are right on par with the first 2 of this season, maybe even slightly better. It takes a little bit of a step back because of the extra subplots that they dive into that I don't think are necessarily necessary, but it does take a giant leap forward in building the intensity and emotions and the gravity of what's about to take place. Despite my concerns that I have moving forward into the last part of this season, I'm really excited for it. If they can keep the subplot storylines to a minimum in these last 3 episodes, then this season is going to be an absolute home run. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the amazing content that we have coming your way over the next weeks and months. Let me know what you have thought of this season so far down in the comments. May God bless and grow each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.